about trouble, you got Travis Tritt, you've got Jim Jordan, Kevin McCarthy gets votes, Steve Scalise gets votes. 20 Republicans voted for somebody other than Jim Jordan, but we can confirm here today that Congressman Mike Bost did cast a vote in favor of Jim Jordan, and he is here on the Annie Frey Show right now. Congressman, thank you for the time today. We've been watching the votes come in. Tell us what took place on Capitol Hill so far.
So here's what we've got. So because we had a couple members absent, it didn't take 217. It would have taken 216 votes to actually elect a speaker. As you said, Jim Jordan got 200 votes. I was one of them. Had told and made that promise that I would vote for him, and I did. Then the Democrat got 212 votes. 6 Republicans voted for McCarthy, 7 voted for Scalise, 3 voted for former Rep. Lee Zeldin out of New York, 1 voted for Mike Garcia, 1 voted for Tom Emmer, 1 voted for Tom Cole, and 1 voted for Tom Massey. Now, we understand, we did adjourn. We have not been told when we're going to come back and talk conference again to try to figure out where we're going to go from here. The scary thing was, I was trying to watch, and whenever I was talking to others, many of the people who were of the 200, maybe as many as 5, said that was the vote that they told they would give for Jim to try to get the government running again, but would not give him a second vote. Oh. So that means his numbers are going the wrong direction, and I wish that wasn't the case. He'll have time to try to work the votes, to try to bring, there are two of the 20 I understand that might go his way, but then there's 5 others that go the other way. And it's very frustrating because, I know that you and I spoke at an event earlier this week, and I told you at that time that, look, we've got a ship without a rudder because of what Matt Gaetz did in the 8. We have now raised up Scalise, and that one didn't work, and now we've got Jordan. So now do we go to other people? But while we're doing this, you've got the problems that are occurring in Israel and what we need to be doing and why we need to actually have our house operating. We're not working on the farm bill that has to be done by the end of the year, and if it doesn't get done, we revert. That farm bill goes back to 1947 language. We have more of the budget to pass and get that passed. We're coming up on the time that we did for the continuing resolution where government will shut down if we don't have some kind of vote made before that time. So there's all kinds of issues out there, not counting those issues, which there are the issues of oversight and continuing the investigation on the Hunter Biden as time is running out on that. Many of the charges and things like that because of statute of limitations, even though we can still do our hearings at a later date, but we've got to do it right now. And but all of that's been held up.
Yeah.
Our issue on the border. The list goes on and on, Annie, of what we're not doing. Why? Because of these 8 that voted with the Democrats in the first place to throw Kevin McCarthy out, and us trying to come back to find which speaker would take this.
So Congressman Bost joining us right now. He has just come off the House floor as he voted for Jim Jordan, but Jim Jordan failed to secure, as we've learned here from Congressman Bost, the 216 votes necessary to secure the speakership. 7 votes for Kevin McCarthy, 6 for Steve Scalise. If he were able to get those 2 factions to come over to him, he'd still be 3 short of the 216 necessary. As I understand it, Kevin McCarthy and Steve Scalise have both voted for Jim Jordan. Matt Gaetz has voted for Jim Jordan. At this point, the American people that I speak to, and I'm one of them included, think, knock it off, get back to the business of the American people, right. Stop making these sort of grandstanding points. We understand it. Right. You don't like what Matt Gaetz did. Matt Gaetz didn't like what Kevin McCarthy did, but we have work to do. Are they going to change?
Exactly. I hope so, but we've got to find that person that I think both the Steve Scalise vote and what they did to Steve and what they've done to Jim is each side, taking their ground and then taking it out on the other. So now the question is it someone else? Because there are the people that are fairly high number that are saying never Jordan, just like there were certain people that said never Scalise. And so what is that person? Who is that person that can lead? Because understand, being speaker is not easy. And I can remember when Paul Ryan took the speakership, and when he was agreed to do it, it's an automatic. Your life's over because you're never going to appease everybody.
Yeah.
Trey Gowdy. I think I told that the other night to you that Trey Gowdy, back whenever Boehner was having people don't vote for Boehner, don't vote for Boehner. Trey Gowdy was from a very conservative district. He got up and seconded the nomination. And he said, "I'll have people ask me, why did you second the nomination? Why did you second the nomination of Boehner?" Well, it was to punish him. Because anybody who gets it's automatically public enemy number one.
Yeah.
They have their own group, but they're trying to work to herd the majority into a place where we can advance the ball. I thought Kevin was doing a good job. That's water under the bridge. We did a lot of things under Kevin. He was able to move. I believe Steve Scalise could have. I believe Jim Jordan could have. But we have to get back to work, and we can't get back to work until we get that 217 or 216, depending on what the people are that are present.
Yeah, I'm looking at these names, the 20 that voted against Jim Jordan, and as you know, Congressman Bost, we've discussed this before. There are some people in the House of Representatives and in the Senate who find themselves in front of cameras quite often, but they don't represent the whole. There are 435 members of the House of Representatives, and there aren't a lot of names on here that are super prominent names that a lot of people might know. It just seems to me like their names are going to be out there. They're going to be drawing a lot of ire from people who are going to be very frustrated with them holding up and obstructing the system. And here's the other thing that I will add to it, Congressman. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people who are Democrats, who follow the show, who comment on the show, and they love this. They are infatuated with this chaos.
Sure they do. Because let me tell you that if it wasn't for the vacating the speaker's chair, you look at the list of things we were getting done and how Biden was failing miserably. It doesn't matter whether it's on the border. It doesn't matter his reaction. I'll give it where it is. I think Israel should be handled a little bit different. I'm glad the carrier groups are there. I'm glad for that. But we have to have a strong leader in there. Let me tell you also, when we had Kevin McCarthy had some of the highest numbers of any national politician, which doesn't happen with Speaker, by the way. Mm-hmm. So now, here we were ahead, and now the more this drags out, the worse it is for we as a party.
Yeah, that is evident. I see that from both Republicans and Democrats alike. Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost, who has voted once for Speaker so far today. He cast his vote for Jim Jordan, who was the nominee from the party. And Jim Jordan failed to get the required amount to become Speaker, so they will have to have a second ballot. What happens next here? Do you anticipate another strong show of support for Jim Jordan? McCarthy still in it? Scalise still in it? Where do we go from here?
Here's the thing. We're going to have a conference because, like I said, I saw that there were certain people who voted for Jim Jordan this time that it looks like it'll go the opposite direction. The question is, does Jim feel that way? He's going to go out and try to work these votes, or at least I hope he will. I will give my vote back to Jim if he is our nominee. Whoever our nominee is, we need a speaker. So, but here's what's really wild, and people don't understand this. There are certain things that when you come in as a freshman and you're in the majority, there's three things you do. One, you don't vote for a motion to recommit done by the Democrats because that is a procedural move. Two, you always vote for the rule, okay, because the rule is not the bill. It is actually allowing the bill to be brought up. And three, when you get a speaker vote in conference, whether you voted for them or not, you go to the floor and you vote for them because that makes you solid as a conference. We don't get that, and we don't have that with this group, and I don't understand why.
I said last question before, but I have one more because people are asking.
Okay.
Would you accept the speakership if they nominated you, Congressman Bost?
Let me put it to you this way. Why would you want to punish me that bad?
I don't know. It's they're asking. I'm totally throwing them under the bus.
I am no.
Hey.
Let me ask my wife. Tracy said no.
Yeah. I talked to Trace this weekend, and I think she would say no. But I'm telling you what, the people support Mike Bost for Speaker. I'll take anybody at this point that you can get people behind.
Okay.
Congressman, thank you for
All
your
right.
time today. We're grateful for it.
All right. Thank you, Annie.
All right,
Appreciate it.
bye-bye. He says it's a punishment.